The regular meeting of the City Council held in council chambers on Thursday, January 14th, 2016 at 7 o'clock p.m. for the purpose of transacting any and all business. Notice this meeting was posted on January 7th, 2016 at 3:30 p.m. This meeting is being taped and is live on SATV. Also, please turn off any cell phone ringers. All councilors present. Council President Turiel presiding. Councilor Gerard moves to dispense with the reading of the previous meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. I now request that everybody please rise to recite the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Councilor Dibble.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Public testimony, none.
President, just rise this time, the City Council suspend Rule 22 of the City Council.
Councilor Lovely has moved that we suspend Rule 22 of the City Council.
Second.
Seconded by Councilor McCarthy. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Any councilors have any points of personal privilege? Councilor Dibble.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Through the President, I would like to thank the good people of Ward 7, in particular the Councilor Joe O'Keefe's family, for their support and their trust. Councilor Joe O'Keefe was a personal friend of mine and a neighbor for 25 years, and I would just like to let his family and the residents of Ward 7 know that I hope to follow in Councilor Joe O'Keefe's footsteps and in an honest and hardworking way that was Joe O'Keefe. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Councilor. Any other announcements or points of personal privilege? Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. And on that note, I want to wish the good counselor a belated happy birthday. He would have been 83 this past Tuesday, so I miss him every day.
Hey, public hearings.
Ordered, Externet Systems to install a conduit on Lafayette Street and New Derby Street and construct and maintain telecommunication wires and appurtenances, including fiber optic cable, a remote node, and pole top antennas to one existing pole located in, across, and over the same public ways.
Appearing in favor. Please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, good evening, Mr. President, members of City Council. For the record, Ricardo Souza from Prince LaBelle Thai, 100 Cambridge Street, Boston, Massachusetts. Here on behalf of the petitioner, Externet Systems.
Thank you.
Very good. Mr. President, members of City Council, Externet Systems is a constructor and owner of wireless infrastructure. It is in the business of building DAS systems throughout the country, and here in particular in the city of Salem. It currently operates 3 DAS nodes in Salem, pursuant to a license agreement with the city. Allows wireless carriers to take advantage of a neutral host infrastructure to supplement better wireless service to the residences and businesses of the city of Salem. And this particular petition is a proposal to add 1 additional node for a total of our 4th node here in the city to utilize here at the corner of Lafayette and New Derby Street. There is an existing light pole there. What we would propose to do is to utilize either that light pole or replace it with a very similar but painted black light pole consistent with the other infrastructure that's in that corner, and install our wireless DAS node at the top together with a radio cabinet at the middle of the pole. And that's consistent with other DAS installations that we've done, not only in the city of Salem, but also in other municipalities here in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you. You just stated you have 3 other locations already currently in the city. Could you
Yes.
tell us what the addresses of those are?
I can.
Thank you.
They are at 37 Ward Street. They are at 167 Lafayette Street and 82-84 Congress Street. Those were approved as grants of location by this city council in 2012. Those are somewhat different than the proposed DAS node in the sense that those are your typical wooden utility pole where we're placing an antenna on top of that wooden pole. This particular corner of Salem doesn't have some of that traditional older wooden infrastructure. Rather, it has more decorative utility structures, and so that's why we're proposing the installation as was described in our plans and also the photo simulations that we submitted. And if any of the councilors would like additional photos or copies of the plans, I have them here with me tonight.
Thank you. Any further questions, members of the council? Any members of the public wish to speak in favor? Any members of the public opposed? Name and address for the record.
Thanks, George. Mr. Council President, Mary Medora, 31 Forester Street. We did receive notice about the poll, and it's been rescinded. I've talked with many of the councils this evening, and there's going to be another meeting, and we all will be in attendance there. I'm against a poll on Forester Street. It was going to be right in my neighbor's front yard. I think it's inappropriate for a residential area.
This is specifically about the poll proposed for Lafayette and New Derby.
I know, but I figured I'd come up and say it anyway. You'd be
And as a different
disappointed
vendor.
if I didn't. Thank you.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you. Yeah, just for the record, do you have the, I know that it was sent to us in our packet, do you have the artistic renditions of what this will look like? Ah, there you go. I just see if, I've seen that one, I just want to see if they have another one.
I have additional copies for members of the
Thank you.
council.
Thank you. It's on the back of it, perfect, thank you.
Of course. Thank you, Councilor.
Any further questions? Councilor Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you, why, can these things go on top of buildings? I know a lot of times they're all through the buildings. Why does it have to go on the pole? Or is it-
So the difference between this system, which is a DAS, distributed antenna system, is that it was designed to install on utility structures. Wireless networks are built initially through macro sites, which are larger installations that are on towers and on rooftops. So each of the 4 carriers have existing macro networks in every municipality, but there are gaps. And this DAS systems are an ability to bring not only fill that gap, but also bring additional capacity closer to the user. And so there are additional gaps that we have identified from a radio frequency perspective in these locations, these 4 locations, and in particular this intersection. It'll bring additional capacity to that intersection, initially for T-Mobile, but Extenet Systems builds a neutral host DAS system, so it'll be able to service all the wireless carriers.
My other question was like, how did you figure out where this location is? They just where the gaps are. You already
It's-
explained it.
We work closely with the radio frequency engineers for T-Mobile and the other carriers.
You can hear. Is that the one like you can hear me now? Is that like the Verizon one?
Yeah, I think that's Verizon, exactly. We'd love to have them as a tenant as well, eventually.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you. On that note, with regards to the great explanation, because that question has been asked to me, is like, how do these locations determine? So these locations, I'm assuming anybody would just kind of, you figure out where the voids are and you try to fill a void through some sort of vectors, and what locations will give you best coverage to maintain your service throughout the entire city.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Counselor. So, as I said, there are existing macro sites, existing wireless network, but the carriers are coming to us and saying we have either a gap in coverage in a particular location, or we have a lack of capacity. Simply too many callers in one location, and this additional node will be able to supplement that existing macro network.
Okay. Now, just with regard to the picture and the location, the pole is at such a height that it's on the 2nd or 3rd level of the Derby Lofts building. You're going to have a radio frequency box out there. Does it produce any noise, sound? Is it going to if it's literally probably within the distance from me to that wall from someone's
Yep.
window.
Yep.
So what are the ramifications of that? Is there anything negative that comes out of this? Is there anything, I mean, obviously the positive is that everyone gets cell phone coverage, and,
Yep.
but at what cost?
Sure. So these are very small installations. The antennas themselves are 24 inches tall. That's the unit that's at the top of the pole. And then about 2/3 of the way up, there will be a 41-inch stealth canister that will hold the radio cabinets that will allow the antenna to operate. These are very low-powered antenna units. That's the reason why we need so many. So unlike as the counselor asked, unlike a macro site that could be on a rooftop, each wireless carrier would have 12 antennas. Each antenna would be 4 to 5 feet tall. This is one small antenna that not only services T-Mobile, but services the other carriers as well. So there's very little power output, and noise has not been an issue. We have installed, Extenet has, I believe it's about 28 nodes in the city of Boston in the Back Bay, also on corner intersections. It has them in New Bedford, it has them in Hull, it has them in a number of municipalities in Massachusetts. This is a real proven technology.
Thank you. Any other counselors wish to ask questions of Counselor Lovely?
Thank you, through you, Mr. President. Are there any host fees available for the sightings of these? Do you have any host fees in other communities that?
Host fees, and by that, fees that,
City-based on these?
that's right. I'm not familiar with the exact license agreement with the city of Salem. The Pole Attachment Act by the federal government set certain fees that would be paid to the utility company or to the owner of that utility structure. I'm not privy to the actual fee that's being paid to the city of Salem relative to this.
Paid to other communities?
Yes, yes.
Is there,
It's typically a fee per pole.
not by your company, but
It is by our company, that's correct.
you have contracts with other communities relative to fees?
We do, yes.
Provide us with copies of those, or who you do business with in the Commonwealth?
We can, yes, I can provide that.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. Counselor Dibble?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. I'm a little concerned with the proximity, as the other good counselors had mentioned. Rather than putting them on a roof or an independent structure some ways away from a residence, these are fairly close to residences, and I wonder if you can touch upon the electronic magnetic field that might be projected from these units.
Yep, so we do an EME study to make sure that we are complying with FCC standards relative to radio frequency emissions. And so we make sure that these installations are well within those standards set by the FCC.
Okay, this one unit is maybe 7 feet or so away from a building. What does this one generate?
Since I'm not an engineer myself, I'm an attorney. I'm not going to speak to the actual power output, but I could provide you with an analysis and could provide that to the City Council,
Thank you.
if you'd like.
No further questions. Thank you.
Any further questions?
I
Counselor Sargent?
Well, I'm just speaking of the request of the city electrician to put these in Committee on Government Services and deal with them. I thought these were upgrades to existing companies, Verizon or System Poles. I didn't realize this was another company. And also, are there other companies coming along the way with these kind of poles? If you're Sprint, is the next wireless company and the next one gonna be coming in to compete? And as your service gets better, does the competition want to get better? Or, you know, so are we looking for more and more companies coming in like this? Just offhand.
Yeah, so there is another petitioner on the docket. I can't speak for them. I can tell you that really the two big providers that I've seen is Crown Castle, that builds DAS networks, and Extenet. They also build DAS networks. In addition to that, there's a third company, ATC Outdoor DAS, that has built Wi-Fi DAS. Those are all three of those are neutral hosts. So the important thing about Extenet is that it is a neutral host provider. Once it has a node up there, it can service the other wireless carriers. There has been as well a lot of consolidation in the wireless network, in the wireless industry. There have been mergers between T-Mobile and Metro PCS, Nextel and Sprint, so there are fewer wireless carriers out there. There's really four large ones: Verizon, AT&T, T-Mobile, and Sprint. And so it's a matter of allowing those companies to provide their service here in the city.
Right. I know for this kind of service, we used to look the large buildings like the high school, the power plant stack. Now, just for, you know, sake of information, we've talked about one near Forrester Street that got withdrawn, but just down the street, they're building a new power plant with, say, a 250-foot stack. Would the top of something on that stack service a larger area as efficient as having them on the different side streets in the neighborhood?
Yeah, so I can't speak to Mobility's petitions and where they're placing their poles. I can only speak to Extonet's proposal for this particular installation in this particular corner. This particular corner at Lafayette in New Derby is driven by T-Mobile, Extonet's customer, and their demand for better service in that particular intersection.
All right.
This doesn't do away with the carrier's needs for macro sites that are on large structures, but this is an ability to provide supplementary surface closer to the user, closer to those folks who are using wireless phones, tablets, and all the other wireless devices.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor.
Counselor Fumiko.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Pending no other further discussion, I would move this public hearing be continued and that we also refer the matter to the Committee on Government Services. Co-posted. And if we were to have a discussion just about the city guidelines, I'm hoping that perhaps either you or a representative from your company would be able to kind of educate the greater population a bit more.
Could I ask in particular to what subject? Because I can
We'll
bring a
send you some
representative for
information.
construction.
Leave a card with our city clerk, or we actually have your contact information already.
Yes, you do.
Fabulous.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Counselor.
Counselor Fumiko moves that the public hearing remain open and that the matter be referred to the Committee on Government Services, co-post with the Committee of the Whole. Counselor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. Is it going to be to a time set date for the continuance of the public hearing, or is it just going to be, you're going to let the committee do their work? I mean, I believe if we're going to continue the public hearing, it has to be to a time-sensitive date. It has to, you can't leave an open-ended public hearing. It has to be to the second meeting in February, the third meeting in, I don't know, whatever, pick one. I just don't think you can leave it open-ended.
I would say from the chair that in order to make sure that it's done, we should probably continue this to the second meeting in February, give you plenty of time to hold the committee hearing and do any of the work around. So if you could.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Second the motion. So Counselor Fumiko moves that the public hearing be continued to the second meeting in February. What is the date on that?
25th.
Pardon?
25th.
25th? So Counselor Fumiko moves that the public hearing be continued to February 25th and also refer to the Committee on Government Services, co-post with the Committee of the Whole, seconded by Counselor Epley. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, Counselors.
Further hearings.
We have a hearing for Mobility LLC to install a pole between Forester Street and Emerton Street.
Mr. President, George Atkins, 59 Federal Street, Salem, representing Mobility. My brother counsel was quite articulate in terms of his explanations. I have to confess to you that, unlike he, I'm technologically challenged. I have what appears to be a dated kind of phone.
The Gibbs phone.
That no one else has. I call it a dumb phone, as opposed to a smartphone. But obviously, one of the problems that everyone who has a phone has is these occasional gaps in coverage. I think I have with me today to answer some of those technical questions Peter Jeffrey from Mobility, and hopefully he can answer those questions, but I think they're going to be similar, although the two companies are not exactly competitors. As you know, there are 7 separate locations Mobility has requested. Among those were a request for 3 new poles, as opposed to attaching 2 existing poles. We have heard concerns expressed by councilors and others about those new poles and their locations, and as a result, Mobility has agreed to withdraw those applications.
Those are the first 3 in our...
That's the first 3, 3, 4, and 5, pages 3, 4, and 5 on your agenda. Their locations at Forester and Emerton, Lynch and Perkins, and Essex and Beckett. The remaining locations that we wish to go forward with are on Summer Street in Ward 2, Pond Street and Washington Street in Ward 5, Highland Avenue and Clark in Ward 3, and Congress Street in Ward 1. Now, we intentionally withdrew that so that we could work with the community, with councilors, with the city engineer, with the city electrician, to see if we can do a number of things. Maybe there are alternates to a new pole, like an existing pole. I guess that would be the first thing to re-examine. The second point would be to work in terms of its appearance. If a new pole is desired, work with the ward councilor, see what we can do in terms of its appearance and location. Obviously, because a new pole opens the street, the city engineer is going to have to be involved with that process as well. So we're basically stepping back from those three and trying to work with everyone to try and arrive at a satisfactory conclusion. Maybe Peter, can you come up, introduce yourself, please?
One moment. What we'll have to do, we'll officially, we have to, with this first one, since that one is withdrawn, since we have to prove through these one at a time in the discussion, so by rule. So
Okay.
I'd say the first request of mobility to install a pole between Forester Street and Emerald Street is withdrawn by the applicant. Further hearings. So
We have
page 4.
A petition for mobility to install a pole between Lynch Street and Perkins Street.
Also withdrawn by the applicant. Further hearings.
We have a order for Mobility LLC to install a pole between Essex Street and Beckett Street.
Withdrawn by the applicant. Further hearings.
We have an order for Mobility to attach equipment to existing pole on Summer Street.
This one we actually are processing. So to speak in favor again,
I have reached out, I'm obviously speaking in gross here among all four of the applications, but I did reach out to clients, it turns out, on Summer Street, the Salem Inn, the Pabick family, and they had an opportunity to view the plans and have no objection. I also had an opportunity to speak with another client of mine, happenstance-wise, Salem Waterfront Hotel, which also had been provided information and pictures and the plans, and they also have no objection. So I just wanted to put that out there to those specific locations. Peter, let's bring you on.
thank you. Name and address for the record.
Sure. My name is Peter Jeffrey. I live in Groton, Massachusetts, 250 Nashua Road.
Thank you. Speaking in favor? So.
Fantastic. So, as our counsel, George Atkins, pointed out, I'm with the company Mobility. We are building out a nationwide transport network that allows us to provide all kinds of services, as well as wireless connection services for the wireless carriers. As Council pointed out, many of you have smartphones. That's what drives the need for these technologies. It's not necessarily just a coverage need anymore. A lot of times it's a capacity need. Capacity is really only as strong as its weakest link, and a lot of times the weakest link is the backhaul to the provider's switch, right? Some applicants here tonight have fiber backhaul. Mobility has chosen to use a hybrid approach with fiber and wireless backhaul. It allows us more flexibility, less impact to the community when tearing up streets for putting in fiber, and also much more flexibility with siting and locations. We appreciate the concerns of the neighbors that brought to our attention the issues with the new poles that were proposed, and we look forward to working with the city to come up with viable alternatives. We definitely would like to proceed forward with these applications because we feel that they're, you know, conform with the environment that's there today. You know, our equipment is generally a little smaller than the equipment that some people are placing on small cell locations, and it has no noise. There are no active fans. This is all passive cooling, and it also has a very small power envelope. And as the previous council pointed out, we'd be more than willing to provide the details on an environmental study for that.
Just passed out renderings on of the equipment on a light pole. Peter, could you speak about the height of the antenna and the size of the attachment?
Yes. The height of the antenna, again, is about 2 feet tall. Generally, the antennas are about that height just because of the wavelength of the frequency that it operates at. It's just a physical parameter. The box is about generally around 2 foot by 8 inches by 1 foot.
Could I ask that we take one of those and pass it through the audience, let them take a look at the rendering also?
There are constraints that, you know, will actually come into play as well with, because the utility provider in the city is National Grid. They've asked that we install a meter at each one of those locations. So there would be a meter that is on the pole. That's a constraint by that power provider. And then there's a small disconnect box. And those, I believe, are also shown on the drawing.
Councilor McCarthy.
Just a quick question relative to that. Is there battery backup in this thing?
No.
Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Another question? Councilor Flamenco.
So, for you, Mr. President, could you email us a copy of that so we're able to send it out to our constituents as well?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Any further questions from councilors?
I would.
Councilor Sargent.
I'm just curious, on one of these applications that says wood poles, it doesn't say these fancy metal poles that we're seeing pictures of, so.
That's the one on Highland Avenue, Councilor.
Yeah, part of going in committee is that we deal with any installations as, you know, historically as we can, as, you know, aesthetically pleasing as possible. But also, it says maintain underground, you know, wires in the roadways and cables, et cetera. And that's part of what I'm looking at. We have another company that could be digging up our streets. And we have a lot of companies digging up our streets. And it usually seems like right after we repave them. Yeah. And it was supposed to be a year, but it never seems to quite work that way. You get a nice new section of roadway, and all of a sudden, boom, here comes another future pothole, or, you know, opening across the street. So, I mean, how much underground digging does your company have to do around the city to maintain these poles?
Very good question, but I'm going to go back to my comment about wireless backhaul. So our first choice is to basically do a wireless backhaul back to one of the adjacent macro larger cell sites in the area and not need any type of connection for backhaul transport, right? For power, if it's on a wood pole, we generally draw power directly from the secondary, right? So there would be just a connection in the aerial, not in the street. For the light poles, we'd like to work with the city to see if it would be possible for us to bring power off of your light feed and pay some type of, flat rate billing against that. So our hope, is to not have to basically cut street, and we feel that that's really a benefit where we're able to deploy faster with less community impact.
Thank you. Councilor Flamenco.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm going to move to continue the public hearing to the second meeting in February, and also to further move the matter be referred to the Committee on Government Services, co-posted. And with that, if you could get us some photos and everything beforehand so we can send it out.
I think we have an email address for someone on the committee.
If you email city councilors
It's even correspondence.
at salem.com, one L on the councilors for that one, it actually goes to all of us.
Thank you.
Makes it a little easier for you.
Okay, Councilor Flamenco is moving to continue this public hearing to to February 25th, co-posted with, and also move it to the Committee on Government Services, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, seconded by Counselor Epley.
Under discussion.
Pardon?
Under discussion?
Under discussion.
Just before we vote, there are people here who may have come to speak tonight.
We have to, we're gonna go through we're gonna go, we'll make sure that on at least, because we have 4 of these.
Right.
We're going, ultimately, these are all going to be referred and continued, so we'll make sure, rather than doing it for all of them, we'll just, everybody can come in on the one, and the public hearing will remain open, so when we continue it to there, with hopefully something that the council has come up with, you know, with the city, then we'll have people have a chance to weigh in on it then also, so.
Let's take it up on the next one.
Thank you.
So on the motion by Councilor Famico to continue the public hearing to February 25th and move it to the Committee on Government Services, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, seconded by Councilor Epley. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further hearings?
Mr. President, was that all 4?
No, we have to do them individually.
You don't have to stay there. All right. You don't have to stay there.
Yeah, George, you can sit, but for now. Further hearings?
We have an order for mobility to attach equipment to existing pole between Pond Street and Washington Street.
Hey, if it's proper procedurally in this, Councilor McCarthy?
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this, even though it's not my ward, I move that this matter be referred to the second meeting in February, and then also at the same time be referred to the Committee on Government Services, co-posted Committee of the Whole. But at this time, I'd also ask if there's anyone in the audience that's opposed to any of these petitions that, I mean, everyone came tonight, so everyone's has the right to come and speak in front of us. We might as well open it up on this one.
Sure.
To allow everyone to come and just, you know, rather than get into the specifics of one specific one, or if you want to get into specific ones.
I was going to open it up on page 9, but that's fine.
That's
we can
fine.
Open it up
we'll
here
just do
too.
it up now.
Okay.
That way we can move it. So that way I would move that these matters, but under discussion, I would also open it up for anyone who's in the audience to oppose.
So moved. If anybody would like to speak first, seconded by Councilor Epley. So first, if anybody would like to speak in favor of these, you know, come to the microphone. And if anybody would like to speak opposed to any of these, please also come forward. Or if you want to speak neutrally about any of them. But. State your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, councilors. Bonnie Belair, 92 Wharf Street. I'm here tonight to talk about mobility's proposals for 7 locations, now down to 4. The proposal is basically one and done. They're here tonight before you, and then they're done. They don't need any other approvals. Mobility's applications will only help Sprint, and they don't have to come back before you for any additional equipment, height increases, or safety concerns. Other carriers are not going to go on the same pole. It's not going to be able to hold all their equipment, Verizon, AT&T. In one wooden pole, as I said, would not structurally handle all of the equipment. I am 100% for improving wireless technology in the city, but I'm not in favor of the poor proposal before you. I ask, do you want a proliferation of one carrier poles in Salem? Salem needs a wireless plan. I mean, does the city have a right-of-way plan? How far apart do the poles need to be? What about additional carriers? Safety. There's no structural oversight that the pole can handle the proposed equipment. There's no oversight for radio frequency. Are they in compliance with FCC limits? Are you aware that they can raise the height 10% or 20 feet by federal law? I also have a list of questions. Will there be ground equipment? How big is it? What's in it? Are they pouring a foundation? What if the pole gets hit? Where is the pole going to fall? Is it going to fall in the road? Is it going to fall in a house? Is it going to fall in a yard? Are any DOT approvals required? Traffic studies. Design. Why doesn't Mobility's pole look like Extonet's? City poles can be replaced with a more attractive solution. I mean, to change the paint color on our houses here in Salem, we have to go before the Historic Commission. But here, we have no oversight. How much equipment can the poles handle? There's no structural report. A structural report should be done for all proposed equipment. I have gone to over 200 hearings across the country, permitting and zoning of cell towers. At every hearing, I have a structural report that shows what the tower can hold with the new equipment and the existing equipment. This is something that we need to know as a safety issue. And it should be done for every proposal before you. Is this all of the equipment that will go on the pole? What is the process to add more equipment? Are permits required? I can tell you no. It's one and done here before you. Is this the tallest the pole will be? Will the applicant exercise their Section 6409 rights to increase the height of the tower by federal law? Are any hazardous materials proposed? Any batteries? How is the equipment affixed to the pole? Can a child reach it? How is the cabling attached? What is the power source? Is it grounded? Does this application circumvent our zoning ordinance that requires a special permit before the planning board? I believe that it does. I ask of the City Council, is there a reason why we cannot ask for a better, more aesthetically pleasing design in keeping with our historic city? The aesthetics, the safety issues, proliferation of poles and visual blight in our beautiful city are my main concerns. Finally, has the city looked into a wireless plan and the options available, such as neutral host provider? If not, then you need to find out more information and defer deciding on these applications tonight, in which I understand is going to happen. So I'm very pleased about that. I think that it's definitely a move in the right direction for the city and the residents of the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Again, name and address for the record.
Mary Medora, 31 Forester Street. I'd like to thank Bonnie for her presentation. She's very knowledgeable in her field. She's helped all of us residents, and I think you councilors also, in terms of trying to understand and to ask the correct questions. As residents, I'm concerned also about safety and the radiation. I would like more information on that. We are concerned about aesthetics. I thought we were going to have a tree. Hopefully we will get a tree at 29 Forester Street. And I agree with it completely. We need oversight. Her points are well taken. And I think when it does go to government committee, thank you, Heather, Councilor Famico, every point will be discussed. Thank you all.
Thank you. And name and address for the record.
Christine Dahl, 30 Forester Street. Happy New Year, councilors. Good evening to everyone here. I wanted to thank Bonnie Belair and Mary Medor for their well-reasoned comments. I also wanted to thank Councilor Famico and Councilor Milo for pushing forward the initiative to continue these hearings in committee. I think that time period will give us all more opportunities to study these proposals. As one resident representing others on my street, I wanted to reiterate that we are very concerned about safety, aesthetics, and oversight. I did have a question related to the actual presentation that was given by the mobility representative. I understand the height of the antenna, I understand the dimensions of the box, but I didn't hear anything as to the height of the pole. When I think about the houses on Forester Street, many of us are 3 stories high. And a pole sitting outside of a second-floor living room window would definitely not do much to help with the aesthetics of life on Forester Street. Or a pole with this particular box sitting outside of a 3rd-story bedroom window would not necessarily do much for the standard of living of that person, other than allowing them to be able to use their tablet, their iPad, whatever, in bed. But I think that there are more pressing issues than being able to use these things in bed. And I'd like to be able to know, what is the height of the pole? Where will these things be situated outside of the residences on Forester Street? We are all homes. Any of you who come down Forester Street know 2- and 3-story homes is what we live in. And so these issues of proximity to our living areas are very crucial to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak at this time? We will keep the public hearing open, so once this is all settled, you'll also have a chance to speak then. Name and address for the record?
Yes, good evening. I'm Janice LaBelle at 1 Chestnut Street in Ward 2. Thank you all for the notice of this meeting and Mobility's proposal. Had you not sent this notification, I would have absolutely no knowledge of this intent or proposed action. And in my complete naivete on this issue or this matter, I thought this was a traffic calming measure and a traffic signal to be proposed. So I greatly appreciate knowing this, because as an immediate abutter to the intersection at Summer Street and 114, the aesthetics are greatly of concern to us, since I'm at the perimeter of the historic district. I greatly appreciate Bonnie Belair's exquisite analysis of this issue, and I hope that you will use due diligence and caution in being methodical and diligent in the analysis of this. I can't speak in favor or against, because I have absolutely no information about this. I'm pleased that the Salem Inn was consulted, but as someone who immediately butts this intersection, I would have appreciated any more information than was afforded by the council. So thank you for the notice. I appreciate the opportunity to weigh in, however, in a very limited capacity. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll just add that Councilor Famico, as the chairman of the Government Services Committee, will, I'm sure, be reaching out to especially to Ward 2 residents in general on this, and we'll notify people. We will be noticing the meeting well ahead of time when we bring everybody in to discuss this in committee, before we bring this back and continue the public hearing in February. So there will be plenty of chance to get all the answers that people want about this, especially the aesthetics, locations, profile, power, all that. So this is going to be a pretty extensive process, and the city will be as well working out a plan, because the city, as you may be aware, now owns a very large amount of the poles here that carry light on them. We got those from National Grid roughly a year ago, and so we'll have to work this out with all these proposed vendors and try and make sure that this is taken care of. So, one more for the moment. Name and address for the record, please.
Michael Chandler, 24 Essex Street, Salem, Massachusetts. I just had a quick question regarding the proposals that are being withdrawn.
Mm-hmm.
Are those being reworked and then expected to be resubmitted, or is that a permanent withdrawal? Or can you not say at this point?
Go ahead, Mr. Atkins.
These particular applications are being permanently withdrawn, but we hope to re-examine the locations for a future application after consulting with neighbors, city council, city engineer, and all the parties.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. On council, on the motion to continue this to February 25th and refer to the Committee on Government Services, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. All those in favor? Oppose? So moved. Further hearings.
Order for Mobility to attach equipment to existing pole between Highland Ave and Clark Street.
Councilor Lovely.
Move it be referred as well, same previous conditions.
Councilor Lovely moves that this be continued to the meeting on February 25th and referred to Committee on Government Services, co-post to Committee of the Whole, seconded by Councilor Epley, first up. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further hearings.
Give order from Mobility to attach equipment to existing pole between Pickering Way and Congress Street.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter goes on the same track as the other matters, move it to the second meeting in February the 25th, and at the same time that this matter be referred to the Committee on Government Services, co-posted Committee of the Whole, for their review prior to that meeting.
Councilor McCarthy moves that this be continued, that the public hearing be continued to February 25th and also referred to the Committee on Government Services, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, seconded by Councilor Ryan, first that time. Seeing no further discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Thank you, everybody, for coming for this. Councilor McCarthy.
I move for a 1-minute recess to allow anybody who wants to leave the chamber so they can do so in an orderly fashion. Or you're welcome to stay, but I don't think most people will, so I'll move for a 1-minute recess.
Councilor McCarthy moves for a 1-minute recess. All opposed? So moved. Resuming the appointments and reappointments.
Held from the last meeting, the mayor's appointment of Andrea Cohen to serve as a member of the Salem Disabilities Commission with a term to expire on December 3rd, 2018.
Councilor Lovely.
Move confirmation by roll call vote.
Under discussion.
No discussion.
Councilor Lovely moves for confirmation by roll call vote. Madam City Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Councilor Dibble.
Yes.
Councilor Epley.
Yes.
Councilor Famico.
Yes.
Councilor Fury.
Yes.
Councilor Gerard.
Yes.
Councilor Lovely.
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy.
Yes.
Councilor Milo.
Yes.
Councilor Ryan.
Yes.
Councilor Sargent.
Yes.
And Councilor Toriel.
Yes.
Letter of thanks.
Thank you.
Previous person.
On the matter of the appointment of Andrea Cohen to the Commission on Disabilities, 11 councilors voting, 11 in the affirmative, none in the negative. The matter carries. Councilor Lovely. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for a suspension of rules, since Ms. Cohen's in the audience tonight, for her appointment, that we allow her to address the city council if she so wishes.
Move. Any objection?
No.
Ms. Cohen.
I didn't see you.
Sure, hi. Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity. I wasn't expecting to speak, so, but I'm looking forward to it.
We weren't either.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I wasn't aware that Ms. Cohen was in the audience. I apologize. Welcome aboard. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Further appointments and reappointments.
Held from the last meeting, mayor's appointment of Stephen Dwyer to serve as a member of the Salem Disabilities Commission with a term to expire on December 3rd, 2018.
I would normally come down for this, but I'm aware that Mr. Dwyer is ill at the moment, and so I move this be held under the rules.
So moved.
Will this be held under the rules?
Held under the rules. Further appointments and reappointments.
Held from the last meeting, the mayor's appointment of Richard Lopsitz to serve as a member of the Board of Commissioners of Trust Funds with a term to expire on April 1st, 2023.
Councilor Fury.
Councilor Toriel.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for confirmation by roll call vote.
Comments?
Comments, briefly, Mr. President. Mr. Lopsitz is a Ward 5 resident. He has extensive experience with finances and management. He has served on other boards in the past, and I'm very grateful that he has chosen to serve this board in the city of Salem.
Any further comments? The councilors? Roll call vote, I think?
Yeah.
Do I see 3 hands for roll call vote?
Oh, it's just a part of it.
I apologize.
Okay. Councilor Dibble?
Yes.
Councilor Epley?
Yes.
Councilor Famico?
Yes.
Councilor Fury?
Yes.
Councilor Gerard?
Yes.
Councilor Lovely?
Yes.
Councilor McCarthy?
Yes.
Councilor Milo?
Yes.
Councilor Ryan?
Yes.
Councilor Sargent?
Yes.
Councilor Toriel?
Yes.
On the recommendation, 11 councilors voting, 11 councilors in approval, so moved. Thank you.
Mr. President, I move for suspension of the rules to allow Mr. Lopsitz to address the council if he so chooses.
Please.
Thank you.
It's nice to see you all here tonight. I really look forward to serving the city of Salem. I've been here for 35 years and in Ward 5 the whole time. And it's an interesting problem to be able to figure out what to do with all the funds that the city has. And I look forward to helping out with that. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Further appointments and reappointments.
Mayor's appointment of Kylie Sullivan to serve as a member of the Bicycle Advisory Committee with a term to expire on January 14th, 2019.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this be held under the rules.
Councilor Gerard moves this be held under the rules. If necessary. Actually, Further appointments and reappointments.
Mayor's appointment of Eric Papetti to serve as a member of the Bicycle Advisory Committee with a term to expire on January 14th, 2019.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this also be held under the rules.
So held under the rules. Further appointments and reappointments.
Mayor's appointment of William Legault to serve as a member of the Disabilities Commission with a term to expire on January 14th, 2019.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this be held under the rules.
Held under the rules. Further appointments and reappointments.
Mayor's appointment of Mary Seisman Best to serve as a member of the Public Arts Commission with a term to expire on January 14th, 2018.
Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move this be held under the rules.
So moved. Held under the rules. Further appointments and reappointments.
Mayor's appointment of Keisha De Leon to serve as a member of the Public Arts Commission with a term to expire on January 14th, 2018.
Councilor Lovely.
I move to be held under the rules, Mr. President.
Thank you. So moved. Held under the rules. Further appointments and reappointments.
Mayor's appointment of Amanda Moore to serve as a member of the Public Arts Commission with a term to expire on January 14th, 2018.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this be held under the rules. This appointment be held under the rules.
So moved. Held under the rules. Further appointments and reappointments.
Mayor's appointment of Austin Barron Bailey to serve as a member of the Public Arts Commission with a term to expire on January 14th, 2018.
Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move this be held under the rules.
So moved. Held under the rules. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have a mayor's appointment of Allison Thibodeau to serve as a member of the Council on Aging with a term to expire on January 14th, 2019.
Councilor Lovely.
Move to be held under the rules, Mr. President.
Thank you. So moved. Held under the rules. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have mayor's appointment of Clint Larrabee to serve as a constable with a term to expire on November 17th, 2016.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this matter be received and placed on file.
Councilor McCarthy moves this matter be received and placed on file. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further appointments and reappointments.
We have a mayor's reappointment of David DeRosas to serve as a constable with a term to expire on November 20th, 2018.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I also move that this matter be received and placed on file.
Councilor McCarthy moves that this be received on place on file. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. At this time, I moved that we take out of order petitions on page 25, please.
Councilor McCarthy, we moves that we take petitions out of order on page 25.
Specifically, the second petition from the Bambolina Restaurant.
Thank you. The petition, all those favor? Opposed? So moved. Petitions.
We have a petition from Tim High, owner of Bambolino Restaurant, to close Liberty Street on Saturday, February 20th, 2016, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., set up and break down at 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. for the purpose of holding a private party that will include food, beer, and non-alcoholic beverages. Tickets will be sold in advance.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think it's a novel idea for that particular street, and I am intrigued by the endeavor, but at this time, since Mr. High is in the audience with us, him being a relatively new business owner with a new business venture down there, I would ask for suspension of the rules to allow Mr. High to address the council and to give us his vision for this, and if he could just address specifically, I'm sure he has. I mean, the street Liberty Street is a dead-end street. It's closed pretty much for the whole month of October, pretty much. I think it's going to be a unique kind of way to get people out during the month of February, but I just want to make sure that he's touched base with all the businesses and residents on that street to make sure that they're all in agreement. And I think this is a great idea, as I hope we all do once he has the ability to address us.
Councilor McCarthy moves for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objections, Mr. Hay.
Name and address for the record.
Yeah, it's Tim Haig, 38R Ocean Avenue, Salem. And we are proposing to do an outdoor block-style party on Saturday, February the 20th, from 1 to 5 p.m. As you heard, tickets are going to be sold in advance, and it would be a private party. We will have a police detail. Notch Brewing will be pouring beer, and I've applied for a one-day liquor license, alcohol license for that. There was a concern from one of the detectives at the police station that maybe the high-rise block that's behind Liberty Street, some of the residents there may use Liberty Street as access to New Derby Street. And I think after hearing that, I think we're going to propose that we close off the parking lot section of behind the Salem Wax Museum, and that'll be where the food and the beer will be poured, which would allow Liberty Street to remain open if that isn't agreeable to you, if closing the street entirely isn't agreeable.
Councilor Fumiko.
Thank you, Mr. President. I could be incorrect with that, but I believe that parking lot is the property of the Wax Museum.
Correct. So we could cordon that area off and just allow people that have bracelets, which would be people that have bought tickets in advance, access to the food and drink.
They'd have access to then be on Liberty Street after that?
Be on Liberty Street after that.
And how do you propose, I have your letter here, how are you proposing just closing it off and monitoring who's going in and out?
So our initial plan was to totally close Liberty Street and only allow people with tickets access to Liberty Street. But I guess I had a concern that closing the street may not be an option.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you. So from my understanding, from your comments, are that your proposal is that the food and the beverages that are going to be served are going to be on private property,
yes,
on the Wax Museum's lot, which doesn't need approval from us. They just need to go through licensing. But at the same time as you want to allow a block party atmosphere on Liberty Street where anybody can pass on Liberty Street, either from people who are in your party or not.
Yep.
So if someone had to cut through, they could. But if you're going to access the area of which there's food and beverages being served, you're going to give them a wristband or a stamp or something like that, so they can. So Liberty Street will just basically be a block party with free access for anybody. But all the food and beverages will be drunk inside that area, or will they be allowed to be in the whole length of Liberty Street?
I think we'd have to allow them to be in the whole length of Liberty Street.
Okay, so that way anybody could pass through if they so desired, but if they wanted to get a beverage or food, they'd have to get a wristband and go into that private property area. Okay. And was this with, and when you suggested this to the police department, they didn't have an issue with that? If the alcoholic beverages and the food were being served from one location and you were still maintaining a block? I mean, we grant block parties for residents all the time for private streets. I mean, this is a little different because there's only, is there one building that has residences above it, right?
Right.
Or maybe two. But anyway, and I'm sure you've reached out to them and let you know they're going to be having
yes,
maybe a few free tickets or something just to get them going. Yeah, that's a good idea. But I mean, as long as the concern is that if the police has a concern that it's a walk-through for people up in the buildings in the back and they're still able to walk through,
yep,
I don't, as long as the police doesn't have an issue with it, I don't have an issue with it.
Councilor Fumiko.
Just another question. So I've been to the Beverly Block Party. They do something similar. They block it off. You can drink on the street. It's fabulous. But I know there, when you get to the point of like a street, they'll have just wooden horses or something just so it's contained somewhat. Like what's your plan as far as that? Is it just going to be open? Will you have someone from your event staff there so people aren't just walking onto the sidewalk from your block party with their notch brew or?
Yeah, so it would be good to have some horses at either end of Liberty Street, but not to entirely close the street off.
That's exactly what they do. I know the good ward, it is Ward 1, the good Ward 1 councilor can probably arrange those through DPW to block it off.
Yep.
And then you'd have somebody that's with your event kind of checking and being at those points?
Yeah, and we'll have a sign there saying that no alcoholic beverages past that point because we'll only be licensed for consumption.
So just one last thing, Mr. President. And obviously, this is the first step. You're going to go to licensing for your one-day liquor license. They'll put some restrictions on you with how many police details and how you're going to regulate how the beer is distributed and whatnot. So this is just, you just want to have the concept approved tonight, which I think it's unique. I mean, a pig roast in the middle of the street, good luck. But I think it's a wonderful idea. It's month of February. It's kind of a down month, so to speak, with regards to activities and whatnot, and hopefully it's not snowing. So I mean, I wish you all the luck, but I would just want everyone's all the other concerns with regards to how many police details, how it's going to be monitored. Obviously, the licensing board will put on restrictions on tip certified and all whatnot to serve the beers, and I know that Notch has all that. So good luck to you.
Thank you.
Councilor Fumiko.
Didn't you already go through licensing?
I did, it was approved at the
And when it was
last,
approved, did they approve this current plan, or did they approve the plan prior?
they approved this current plan.
Great. Thanks.
Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. Now that the good Ward 1 counselor has mentioned the S word, so what happens, I know that if it, in your applications, that it says the snow word.
Oh.
Snow, I'm
I was like, what did I say?
Yeah.
Snow, yeah.
So, what is your plan if there's snow on the ground? I know, like, we can't run races, and we don't like to have races running when there's snow on the ground. So what's the plan if there is snow on the ground?
So if there's snow on the ground,
If it's not, like, if it snows like the day before?
we'll probably have like some snowman making competitions. And unless if there's severe weather, we plan to go ahead on that day. Unless if there is severe weather.
Okay, thank you.
Plan to go ahead.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you. Well, I mean, obviously, if there is a state of emergency in the city where the streets are restricted, then obviously, unfortunately,
Yeah, we
you're going
would.
to have some sort of snow date and
Yep.
be serving the pig someplace else or something. I don't know what you're going to be doing with it. But obviously, if there is a street, if there's DPS throws down the trump card on that one. Snow emergency, the blue lights are on, all bets are off.
Correct. I agree.
Councilor Famico.
Going to ask one more thing. The Witch Memorial's the area that's right there.
Yes.
I would ask that you have that blocked off and not allow people to be drinking their beer and eating their pig and
Yes.
eating their goat in that area.
So I think we would propose to close at the higher end of Liberty Street. We would close it off where the metal bollards are. So it's kind of like the beginning of the pavement. So it wouldn't
Right,
go.
and even the
past them.
backside that abuts to the parking lot, I believe that's where it is, to make sure no one's putting their solo cup down there.
I agree.
Thank you. I will also say from the chair that my wife has already bought tickets for it and is utterly thrilled with the idea.
There you go.
So, Councilor Sargent?
With what's been said, we may have to change the wording to this a little bit. Close Liberty Street to vehicular traffic. Liberty Street's going to be open to pedestrian traffic now, right?
Correct.
Okay, so we're going to have to change the wording to close Liberty Street to vehicular traffic on Saturday, February 20th. That's the will of the body. And
I accept that friendly amendment.
And then for the purpose of holding a party, because Liberty Street won't be for a private party anymore. The parking lot area, the private area will be for the private party, which is fine. And that you have staff on each end to do one of two things. Keep alcohol from leaving Liberty Street, the paved area, and then it shouldn't get to the Witch Memorial. And to make it clear that pedestrian traffic is allowed through. I don't want people to come up and say, geez, this looks like a private party, and not attempt to go through. You know, they have to help you out, come on through. Because so many people with limited, movement make their way to and from Derby Street to get to the Charter Street, elderly housing, senior housing. There are a lot of those little electric wheelchairs that people use. They definitely need to have to go through. I couldn't have supported closing the street to the public for that, but with this wording, I'd be fine with it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So Councilor Sargent has proposed that it be amended to say, to strike the word private and also to say close Liberty Street to vehicular traffic on Saturday, February 20th. And that amendment was accepted by Councilor McCarthy. So, addition, if Councilor Dibble.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple fast comments. Is this a one-time event to welcome Notch, or is it going to happen several times?
If it's successful, we'd like to do it in the summer as well.
Yeah, sounds like a great idea. I've hosted a block party in front of my house for the last 25 years, but I've never seen a business one, so this is interesting. I'd like to ask that the rear gate on the private property of the parking lot to the historic cemetery be blocked off as well, so like the memorial, we won't have food and beverages going into the historic cemetery.
Yep.
And the cleanup after the event, how does that get taken care of?
We'll utilize our dumpsters, and our staff will clean up.
Just within the limits of Liberty, or can you carry it around the corners beyond Liberty as well, in case some cups and other debris happen to venture beyond your block party?
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. Good luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah. Some further discussion on the petition from Mr. Hay, owner of Bambolina Restaurant, to close Liberty Street to vehicular traffic on Saturday, February 20th, 2016, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., set up and breakdown 11 a.m. and 6 p.m. for the purpose of holding a party that will include food, beer, and non-alcoholic beverages. Tickets will be sold in advance. Mayor, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Thank you, Mr. Hay. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that we return to the regular part of the meeting on page 14.
Thank you. Councilor McCarthy moves that we move back to our regular order on page 14. Communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $19,969.99 from Retirement Stabilization Vacation Sick Leave Buyback account for the contractual buyback for the following school employees: Joan Pelletier and Joan Beck.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move for adoption.
Pardon?
First of all, thank you very much. Move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Epley moved for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objections, Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this be adopted.
Councilor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the two items before us are contractual items for two individuals from the school department that have retired. This is essentially retirement buyback, sick leave buyback, and so forth, and it's a standard allowance that we typically do. So I'm not seeking that this be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance, but instead I'm just looking for an allowance for adoption tonight.
So on Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communications from the mayor.
We have an appropriation of $15,424.44 from Retirement Stabilization Vacation Sick Leave Buyback account for the contractual buyback for the following employee from the Council on Aging.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for suspension of the rules.
Councilor Epley moved for suspension of the rules. Seeing no objection, Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this also be adopted.
Councilor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. First of all, I want to go back to the other matter and just congratulate both Ms. Pelletier and Ms. Bick for their retirement. Under this item, this is a similar item. This is Jacqueline Grimes. She's retired from the Council on Aging. We wish her a happy retirement. And again, this is a standard buyback of vacation and sick leave time.
Thank you. On Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communication from the mayor.
We have a transfer of $5,900 from capital outlay equipment to be expended for signs by the Veteran Services Department.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm doing this in two roles, two hats that I'm wearing tonight. One is as certainly as the chair of the Administration and Finance Committee, but also as a liaison to our Veterans Council. Within the Veterans Council for the past several months, there's been a discussion of we really need to do better by our veterans for the signs that are out there. They've not been replaced in years. That's included within the packets for the councilors, and it's also included online from the mayor with her submissions. That what we're talking about here, Mr. President, I believe are 73 signs, something in that effect. This has gone through our veterans liaison, Kim Immerling, who's approved this. It's been a plan that's been in the works for several months. It also is going to not only be in reference to several of the blocks throughout that have been named for various veterans who've served their country very honorably, but also to signify three new Salem Purple Heart City signs. We, as in my first term as the Ward 4 councilor, I had the honor of bringing in that resolution before this body in having our city designated as a Purple Heart City. And so I'm thrilled that this is happening. It's an expenditure of $5,900, and I heartily support it, and I hope that my colleagues will as well.
Thank you. Under discussion. Any further discussion? Seeing none. On Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communications from the mayor.
We have a transfer of $5,000 from Department Public Services salary account to Department Public Services contracted services account.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
Councilor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion?
Thank you, Mr. President. This is, the monies that are being used here are essentially a full-time salary for our retired Mike Bick, who was a custodian here for several years, and the money that's used from that salary is being transferred to contracted services for SJ Services for some custodial items. So it's just a standard transfer.
Thank you. On Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Oh,
Under discussion.
hold on. Under discussion, sir. Councilor Sargent.
This is taking a city job away and put it into a private contract, all right? This is a much bigger issue than just transferring some money. This is taking a custodial job. We're gonna have a private contractor doing the city, cleaning being the custodian of City Hall now?
Councilor Epley.
Mr. President, I thank the at-large councilor for his question. I don't know what the mayor's plans are in terms of the administration's plans are on that, and that could be certainly something that we bring to committee to have that discussion. I have no objection to that. I think what we're talking about here is, Mike retired, I'd say about 6-7 months ago, something like that. I don't know if there's been a replacement or if they've hired anyone in that respect, but this is essentially for ongoing maintenance issues. I'm happy to refer this to committee if it's the will of the body and a good at-large councilor.
I would ask that we do. I mean, we're letting a lot of city jobs go. We let two DPW jobs go to have 3 months of cleaning around Halloween, and we lost those 2 employees full-time a while back, and it kind of flew underneath the radar. I objected to it, but it passed, and now this is, looks like it's leading to more and more losing city employees, and I'd like to see it go in the committee, at least discuss those kind of things.
I have no objection to that at all. So, Mr. President, I withdraw my motion for adoption. Instead, I bring a motion that this be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, and that would be held, I'll state it on the record now, at the next standard meeting, which would be 6 p.m. Before our next council meeting.
On the 28th.
On the 28th.
Okay, on Councilor Epley's amended motion to refer this to the Committee on Administration and Finance, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communications from the mayor.
We have a donation from Iberdrola Energy Products, Inc. of a heavy-duty work truck to be used to support the fire protection operation at Footprint Power.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that this be adopted.
Councilor Epley, motion for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. It's great that Iberdrola Energy Products, who's the main contractor for the Footprint Power Plant, is donating this heavy-duty work truck for fire protection services to the city of Salem. It's much appreciated, and I think it should be greatly received.
Thank you. On Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communications from the mayor.
We have a donation from Dunkin' Donuts, Sean's Donuts, in the amount of $2,000 for the Salem Police K-9 Program Fund.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
Councilor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, Dunkin' Donuts is providing a $2,000 donation to our K-9 fund. I know that various community groups, including Mac Park Neighborhood Association, traditionally provides fundraising efforts for the K-9 fund. It's great that our businesses are doing that as well, and on behalf of the city, I just graciously accept their contribution.
Thank you. On Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communications from the mayor.
We have a donation from Employee-Directed Giving Cummings Properties in honor of Miss Ann Olino of Salem to be deposited into the Fire Donation Fund.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
Councilor Epley moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Again, Mr. President, many thanks again to the Employee-Directed Giving Fund from Cummings Property that is being offered in honor of Ms. Olino to our fire fund. It's much appreciated by the fire department and by the city of Salem.
Thank you. On Councilor Epley's motion for adoption. Oh, Councilor Milo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Through you. I just have a general question relating to this and the previous two items. Do we know who sends out the thank yous to these people? Is there any coordinated effort to do this? And if not, can we maybe find out? I'm just wondering.
I don't have an answer to it. I believe traditionally we've thanked them from the floor when we receive these, but if there is something, actually I would, if suspension of the rules, because I think we have somebody in the audience who's very well aware of how this stuff is done. So if I can have a suspension of the rules to ask Ms. O'Connor here in the audience, who's done a lot of fundraising efforts for the city, if she has any insight on this.
Move to suspend.
It's usually just from the floor. As far as I know, I haven't received anything beyond that.
Well, thank you a whole bunch of times anyway, again.
I was just curious to know if anything written ever went out.
No, that's a good question.
Yeah, no, very good question. Thank you. On Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further communications to the mayor.
We have a 60-day trial parking restrictions on the Salem State University campus, side of Loring Avenue and Lafayette Street in an effort to improve traffic conditions.
Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for adoption.
Councilor Dibble moves for adoption. Under discussion.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to say that this petition and ordinance will go a long way to alleviate some of the parking problems that are experienced in South Salem, along with the border of Ward 7, Ward 5, in and around Horace Mann Laboratory School and Salem State University. A little bit of research has gone into this, and I think we have a good package before us as a trial, 60-day trial, and I encourage us to pass this tonight so that it will take place before the university students come back after their session. I think the signs can go up almost immediately, and then it will be in place, and then it'll go for about a week or so, and then university students will see some new signs. So specifically across from Broadway, there'll be no parking along the White Dove commercial block between its entrance and exit. Along the Bowditch dormitory, there'll be a 30-minute allowed parking basically between Raymond and the College Drive. The same thing will happen 30 minutes from the intersection of Loring, Lafayette, and West, heading easterly along Lafayette Street to the College Drive, basically across Meyer Hall and the other buildings on Lafayette Street. Presently, that's a 2-hour an area. But the most important, I think, is the area in front of the Horace Mann Laboratory School, which is handicapped in trying to recruit people, dropping off, picking up. It's almost a nightmare in there now, and I think this will go a long way to helping, not fully, but I think it's going to go a long way to helping the school itself with a 15-minute parking area from College Drive up to opposite Linden Street where the crosswalk is. Whereas those parents and those visitors to Horace Mann School will be required to get a placard and place it in the car. It's only a 15-minute parking space. And I ask that the council approve this matter tonight, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Fumiko.
Yes, Mr. President, through you to the Ward 7 counselor. Just a little confusion right now with the final comment with the placard, and also how will this work with Horace Mann if, for example, they have parent-teacher nights and everything else? If this is 15 minutes, how do you propose allowing them to park longer than that during a parent-teacher night? Or after the 60-day trial, will there be communication with Horace Mann to see their thoughts on it, with their PTO and the university to see their thoughts during this process?
Yes, thank you.
A few questions.
I think we can get with the Horace Mann School to see how it is going, but with regard to the nighttime activities, this measure is only from 7 in the morning till 6 p.m., so it won't interfere with the nighttime activities there. Residents and others will be allowed to park in that area outside of the no parking areas now. The crosswalks, the loading zones, and the handicap parking spots will all remain in full force. Thank you.
Councilor Fury.
Yes, President. Councilor Turio.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just want to reflect on this a little bit. This is something that Councilor Dibble and I have been working on with the administration. Horace Mann has been in the loop, and Salem State has been in the loop on this. We've been working on this for a couple of weeks, trying to come up with a plan that will direct as much of the on-street parking as possible that's currently being used by college students and direct them into the garage that was just built at great expense and inconvenience, but so at least get it used. And also try and make a dent in the problems we have at Horace Mann during the school day for people being able to access the school, because right now there's almost never any place for them to park anywhere convenient to the school. So this has been worked out with the school, with the college, and with the administration as a plan to get to try and take that stretch and use it primarily for very short-term parking. As part of the enforcement, Salem Police and Salem State Police will be patrolling it, and the Horace Mann School will have a number of passes they'll be able to give out that allow people to park in that zone immediately in front of Horace Mann, which helps solve the problem of giving them some on-street parking available, because they have, for people who know that facility, they have extremely limited parking at this time.
There'll be a collective sigh of relief, indeed, by the Ward 5 and 7 Association that has discussed this issue over the years in their neighborhood meetings. So, well done. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. Councilor Dibble.
Yes, if I may add, this is just simply a 60-day trial that I anticipate that we'll be back before this board, possibly tweaking it a little bit to adjust it slightly, most likely asking for it to become permanent. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. On Councilor Dibble's motion for adoption, just jumping the gun. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved.
Thank you.
Mayor's informational page, none. Motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have it here someplace. Here it is. City of Salem City Council, January 14, 2016, ordered that the attached tag day application from Salem Youth Football and Cheering for January 17, 2016 and February 20th, 2016 be granted.
Thank you. Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. This application came in relative to the first date. We usually take 2 passages to pass these, and in order to make this happen, we need to take this up as an order. So I move that we allow the Salem Youth Football and Cheering personnel to be out there trying to raise money for their various endeavors.
On Councilor McCarthy's motion for adoption, seeing no further discussion, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and the City Council on January 14, 2016 ordered that the monthly financial report dated November 30th, 2015 be referred to the Committee on Administration and Finance.
Thank you, Councilor. Under discussion.
I move for adoption.
Under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just, again, a standard monthly financial report provided to us by the City Finance Director and just be received and filed.
Thank you. On Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. As the Ward 4 Councilor, City of Salem, in the year 2016, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking limited time is hereby amended by adding the following. Ober Street, in front of number 6, for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter. Mr. President, I move for adoption.
For first passage.
For first passage, thank you, Mr. President.
On Councilor Epley's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, in the year 2016, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to traffic, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Chapter 42, Section 50B, handicap parking limited time, is hereby amended by adding the following. Amanda Way, in front of number 2, for a distance of 20 feet, handicap parking tow zone. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by City Charter. I move for adoption and comments, if I can, Mr. President.
Okay. On Councilor Epley's motion for
first
adoption
passage.
for first passage, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. And actually, going back to the one that we just passed, both of these are situations in which a person with mobility issues has contacted myself as well as Lieutenant Przewski from the Salem Police Department, have all of their ducks in a row in terms of paperwork and so forth, and we're just we're passing this so that there can be better accessibility for these residents to their homes.
Thank you. On Councilor Epley's motion for adoption for first passage, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, the City Council, January 14th, 2016, ordered that the Public Health, Public Safety, and Environment Committee, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet to discuss the need for a citywide tree census and ongoing maintenance and long-term replacement plan for trees on any city-owned property, including but not limited to all Salem Public Schools school properties, all parks and recreation facilities, all cemeteries, and any other public space. Invitations to the mayor or her designee, the Department of Public Works director or his designee, the superintendent of cemetery, shade tree, and open space or his designee, the director of municipal operations and capital improvements or his designee, the Salem Beautification Committee, Ellen Talkowski, special projects coordinator, cemetery commission, the Salem Housing Authority, the planning department director or her designee, the planning board, the conservation commission, the community preservation committee, the Salem Historical Commission, the board of public library trustees, the Salem Public School superintendent or her designee, the Salem Public School facilities director, and the Renewable Energy Task Force.
It's going to be a full room.
Where's this
Somebody in
meeting
Salem
gonna
we
be?
left on?
We may need an auditorium for this one. On Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, this is probably going to be my main concentration for this year, is really working toward having a comprehensive plan for this city for trees. They're ignored. They're the last thing in the agenda. You know, we have 300 and some year old trees in the Salem Common that have to be torn down, understandably because of safety concerns, but we don't have a real replacement plan. And we have these beautiful homes throughout the city, and our guys do a fantastic job in trying to maintain what they have, but they've not been given the resources. And we need to know what's there. We don't know what's there, so we need to find out what's there. So I've seen this. I've talked with folks, especially on the planning board, who are dying to have this information, are dying to be able to have this be an overall plan for the city, because we plan everything else. It's time to actually, believe it or not, you know, to talk about the trees. And that's going to be my project this year. So having these people here, we can have one cohesive project. We discussed this actually in our retreat as one of the big issues that we wanted to talk about for this year. So that's the reason why I'm bringing it, and I look forward to that conversation. I look forward to working with the new committee chair on public health, public safety, and environment, and I do suggest that we probably not hold it in this room, that maybe that's a larger room so that we can accommodate everyone, and I look forward to it.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. Under further discussion, start. Councilor Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. President. I didn't hear, is Dick Rodon still the tree warden?
Part-time as a
Part-time.
consultant.
Was he invited? Did you invite him on that?
One of the short answer is yes.
You should probably invite the Lorax too.
Well played. That's absolutely right.
Welcome back. Councilor Milo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Councilor Ryan asked my question.
Thank you. Councilor Gerard.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm more than happy to hold this in my committee. I think that this certainly is important to talk about, and I think it's definitely important for us to talk about it, especially as these departments are getting their budgets together right now, because really what our big deficit is that we have two fantastic employees that take care of all the trees in the city. And that's a huge problem. So I'm wondering if something to think about then to the chair of administration and finance is that once we discuss this here, that we eventually punt it over to your committee as well. So something to think about for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Fumiko.
Thank you to the good Ward 4 Council for bringing this forward. I have some residents who are very passionate about trees. For example, Darlene, who lives over on Federal Street, she takes care of all the trees in their neighborhood and has her own census and has a plan of what's going where and when, so we want to make sure she'll come. But in general, this is great to have, and I know with our new GIS system, there is a way to put that right into the GIS so we know where trees are. They can even track when we're maintaining and overlay things, and this is the opportunity to bring that forward. Whether it's going and walking down a street and at 5'3", I'm struggling to get under some of these branches. And then you have other places that as they're trimming the trees, my lovely Christmas lights are being cut with them. But there's just an overall maintenance plan we need to have, and I'm really, really thankful he brought this forward, and I'm looking forward to this lively discussion with the Ward 6 councilor, so thank you.
Thank you. Councilor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm sorry, one more comment. I don't think you mentioned the Massive Motion Coordinator, because he actually worked with one of the members of the Friends of Green Lawn, and they have GPSed most, if not all, of the trees in Green Lawn. So he has some GIS tools that can help with this as well. So I would recommend including him and including probably inviting the Friends of Green Lawn, or at least Charlie Lipson from the Friends of Green Lawn as well.
Councilor Epley.
Thank you.
I certainly welcome all of those people being invited, and as the new chair of Public Health, Safety, and Environment, the chair can invite anyone she wishes.
Oh, thanks.
Well, Mr. President,
Councilor Sargent.
I didn't really plan on getting in on this conversation, but I just reminded me of an email I got today from a man up by West Avenue on the development up in that corner, and there's a proposal that may take down 2 historic trees. So I hope this will cover trees from a historic perspective. Say there's one chestnut tree and one, yes, a state tree is an elm tree. And it's become a real bone of contention that someone could just cut that down as part of a development. And so if anything, if it will cover an inventory of historic type trees, or even like say historic building gets torn down, needs a demolition permit. Maybe something that's 100-year-old, 200-year-old historic tree may need some kind of a demolition process before it's cut down. So,
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no objection to that thought, but then I would also like to state that if a tree's on private property, we have no jurisdiction over it. I mean, much like even with the demolition process, you could try to create a 60-day period of which they couldn't demolish a building, but at that point, after 60 days, they're allowed to. I mean, if other options haven't been presented to try to tweak a development or whatnot. But I mean, trees on private property, that's a whole other issue. I mean, with the list that was just got put together, I mean, you're gonna have a GIS person, and you probably should get an intern, a couple interns from Salem State or something. I mean, every school, every piece of public property, every public street, public way, I mean, that's a boatload of work just to begin with, never mind trying to document, maybe there's a way for people that have historic trees on their own property, if they wanna somehow add them to some sort of database once it's created. I mean, this is, I give the council a lot of credit, this is a work in progress, and it's gonna take a lot of work, and I don't know, I'll leave, you can work it out with the chair. I mean, maybe the chair, the first initial meeting wants to start with a smaller group and then try to work towards getting an idea of what they're doing, then invite the other people in to let them know what they're doing, because at some point, I mean, obviously the key people involved would be, you know, school department, I mean, with everything listed, school department, public works, Shade Tree Cemetery, Dick Renard, maybe a handful of other people to have a smaller contained meeting first, talk about it, see what they can do, maybe even start the whole problem, and the Massive Motion guy, and start the whole process of documenting the trees and getting them on a map, and then present that to everybody else. I don't know, it's because that type of meeting with that volume of people is going to be a very difficult meeting to manage, but I'll leave that to the good chair and the council who proposes. Maybe they can work that out, but if they want to bring everyone in at once, and maybe they break off into subgroups, but I'll leave that to them. Good luck.
Councilor Sargent.
Just a quick comment on that. We don't control anything on private property, but we give a lot of people special permits, variances, sometimes 5 or 10 variances on one project. So when you give something, you have a right to ask for something in return. So when we say to somebody, you can have a variance on height, density, parking, put a parking lot with this residential property, when you're really not supposed to, but somehow it happens. And on that parking lot, that proposed parking lot that's on residentially zoned property, there's a historic tree that's, 10 feet wide and 200 years old. We might have the right to say, we'll give you these things if you give us saving that tree. That's my point on that. Thank you.
Councilor Dibble.
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Just to clarify that this may extend into private property allowed by Mass General laws, whereas there's probably just over 1,000 trees in Salem that are planted on private property allowed by Mass General law, whereas the tree lawn might not be wide enough. You are allowed to plant a tree with their permission in writing on their property. We have hundreds and hundreds of trees throughout Salem that are on private property that are publicly owned and are supposed to be publicly maintained as well. So it's beyond the public way, also on private property. Thank you.
All right. Seeing no further discussion on Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, or resolutions. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem City Council, January 14, 2016, ordered that the Government Services Committee, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet to discuss accessibility of voters at the Salem polls on Election Day and all early voting efforts for all 2016 elections, with particular attention paid to the elderly, voters with disabilities, and voters with any language barriers. Invitations to the city clerk and or her designee, the Board of Registrars, the mayor or her designee, the city solicitor, the Salem Council on Aging, the Salem Council on Disabilities, and the Salem Latino Leadership Coalition. I move for adoption.
On Councilor Epley's moves for adoption, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, because we have this in 2016, thanks to the state legislature, we will have early voting this year for the presidential election. And this will be the first time that Massachusetts has had this, and specifically it's the first time Salem is doing this. I brought this for a few reasons. One is for that, to make sure that we're doing all we can as a city council to help support the city clerk, her staff, the Board of Registrars, et cetera, in making sure that we have all of the ducks in a row that we can for that effort. And in addition, I want to pay particular attention to accessibility to the polls. There have been some issues with some individuals who are either elderly or with disabilities, or folks with language barriers that have had some problems at the polls, very minor, but problems at the polls. This is a chance to help move that forward, have that discussion, and make sure that we have a great election, as we always do here in the city of Salem.
Thank you. Any further discussion? On Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is the last one. City of Salem and the City Council, January 14th, 2016, ordered that the Administration and Finance Committee, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole, meet to discuss amending ordinance relative to pay for the City Council solely for the purpose of separating any future increase in pay for the mayor from any future increase in pay for the City Council. Invitations to the mayor or her designee and to the city solicitor. And I move for adoption.
Thank you. On Councilor Epley's motion for adoption, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I brought a similar order in a prior term. I'm bringing it forward again this year. We have a new constituted body this time. Mr. President, as I've argued in the past, we've raised the mayor's pay, actually the beginning of my first term, and when we did that, we simultaneously raised our own pay. And when I came in with just thinking, this is what I'm supposed to be paid, and my first one or two meetings in, we're talking about raising my pay. I had a problem with that. I think that's a separate question from whether or not the mayor, what her pay should be. This is not a request to raise the city council's pay. That's not what this is about. This is solely about separating the question of, when we raise the mayor's pay, we're raising the mayor's pay. When we want to raise the city council's pay, we raise the city council's pay. And by the way, as we discovered, at least the last term, any future increase does not take effect for city council pay during that term. If it does take effect, it takes effect no earlier than the beginning of the new term. So we have received a pay increase effective January of this year, based on last term's allowance. So I'm just wanting to have that discussion in the Administration and Finance Committee, and we're co-posting that with the Committee of the Whole.
Okay, on Counselor Epley's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Counselor Milo.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, January 14th, 2016, ordered that the Committee of the Whole meet to discuss amending Rule 28A. All matters submitted for the City Council for action must be received by the City Clerk no later than 55 hours and replace with close of business day on the Thursday prior to the regularly scheduled council meeting, and that the following be invited: the mayor or her designee, the city clerk, and the city solicitor.
Thank you. Counselor Milo's motion for adoption under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is just an effort to really try to get information, a lot of information that we get usually 2 days before a council meeting, to get it close to a week before a council meeting, so that it gives everybody time to kind of vet the material, have the conversations with people that they need to speak with, and do extensive research prior to the meeting. I would just, I welcome any comments. This was something we talked about on our retreat this past Saturday, and I think it was probably pretty well received. And I think, we can sit down, we can talk about it, figure out how we can make it work for everyone so that we can get our information, and actually so that the residents, the public, can get information ahead of time as well.
Thank you, Counselor. Any further discussion? Seeing none? Counselor Sargent.
I would support this, and because it does give us more time to let people know when something's going on, especially the weekend. Every so often, we've all had the time, we have to walk flyers around and can't get our children to help us because they've all gotten older. When my kids were young, they did a lot of passing flyers around with me, but they've gotten older now, and sometimes it's by myself and I'm slower. But so the weekend would help. But also, it doesn't address the late files. This is all well and good. At some point, we have to address late files, and they should be of an emergency nature. They shouldn't be routine late files, because a late file can still come in on the day of a meeting, on Thursday. And so that's something that possibly we could put a friendly amendment on, that we at least discuss late files on it. If we accept an amendment that we discuss when late files come in, and the nature of them, whether they're emergency or not. Could we possibly put an amendment on with that?
Sure, we can.
Thanks.
Counselor Milo accept that, I saw. So I would add to that for the reporting that, and also discuss late file procedures, if that's acceptable.
Thank you.
So on Counselor Milo's order, with the addition of and discuss late file procedures, Counselor Lovely.
It's my assumption that this can be amended at any time in the committee, so I think there's some other items that I've talked with other councils about relative to posting of the agenda and so forth, that I would assume that while that motion is not contrary to Councilor Milo's intent, there's a lot of other issues that are revolving around our agenda that hopefully that we'd all understand that we'll address those at that time as well, not limited to these two items. Maybe those items may not be ready to go forward, but that we have the opportunity to discuss those at that time.
Councilor Milo.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, and I think a lot of what the Good Ward 3 councilor is talking about is going to be kind of the vehicle to accomplish this. So I'm sure it's going to come up.
Thank you. So on Counselor Milo's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Oppose? So moved. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Counselor Milo.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem in the year 2016, an ordinance to amend an ordinance relative to senior citizen tax work-off abatement program, be it ordained by the City Council of the City of Salem as follows. Section 1, Article 15, Senior Citizen Tax Work-Off Abatement Program, Chapter 2, Section 2-2052, Program Guidelines is hereby amended by deleting and replacing the following. A, last sentence, the maximum amount which can be earned by any participant in the program is deleted, $750, and replaced with $1,000 during any fiscal year. B, upon completion of work by the participants, the city shall abate his or her property taxes for an amount no greater than delete $750 and replace it with $1,000 per year. C, in each fiscal year, no more than delete 25 and replace it with 30 individuals shall be allowed to participate in this program. And D, first sentence, in the event that more than delete 25 and replace it with 30 individuals are interested in participating in the program, then participants shall be selected from a lottery of individuals who meet the eligibility criteria set forth in subsections 1 and B herein. Section 2, this ordinance shall take effect as provided by the city charter.
Thank you, Counselor.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Mr. President, I move for adoption for first passage and also to refer this to Administration and Finance.
Thank you, Counselor Milo's.
Co-posted with the.
Yep. Thank you. Counselor Milo's adoption for first passage and referral to the Administration and Finance Committee, co-post with the Committee of the Whole. Counselor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have no problem with this whatsoever. I think it's a great idea. I think that to benefit our seniors, to allow them to be able to volunteer and work in various city departments, I think it's been a great program. And to increase the amount, which is allowed by state statute. The only thing with where it is an ordinance change, when I look down, I know with the prior, talked to Councilor Milo about, because it does have some ramifications with regards to the budget, with regards to the assessor's office and what they have in that account. Where it is an ordinance change, that maybe it get referred to the Committee on Licensed Auto Legal Affairs, and I'll invite Sarah in. I shouldn't say Sarah. I'll try and invite the Finance Director in, Ms. Stanton, and to my committee if the Finance Committee chairs, because it is going to be an ordinance change, even though it is dealing with money. I don't want to sit here and create it's a great idea. I think it's increasing. I don't think it's a big issue, but I just want so that we all have an understanding of what the financial ramifications are with this ordinance change. So where it is, the underlying is an ordinance change, I think it just goes to ordinances.
Sure.
Co-posted.
Okay, so Councilor Milo says you're okay with that?
I'm okay with that.
Yep. Councilor Milo.
Thank you. I just also want to point out a couple things. I apologize because there were actually a couple letters of support that were forwarded, and I think maybe things got a little confused because I thought Cheryl was in and she was going to distribute the letters, but I can just tell you quickly who they were from and basically what they said. One of them was from Sharon Felton, our social worker over at the Council on Aging, and basically she pointed out a lot of the non-economic, if you will, benefits to this program, getting folks out, feeling valued, et cetera. And the other letter came from Linda Koffel, who's the chair of the Board of the Council on Aging, and her letter was basically similar. And just to give you a little bit of a preview in terms of the finances, I did make Sarah Stanton aware of this, Deb Jackson knows, and there's probably a net reduction of a maximum of, I think it's $14,250. So as the Ward 1 councilor said, it will be good to, get this passed, first passage tonight, get in committee, just make sure everybody knows what the implications are. It's budget season, and then just get it back. The other thing I would like to do is offer an amendment and suggest that this take effect on July 1st, 2016, and I'd like that to be the ordinance that goes into committee so that we don't have to worry about any advertising or anything come out if nothing gets changed.
Second. Okay. Councilor Milo has moves that this be amended to say this takes effect on July 1st, 2016. That was seconded by Councilor McCarthy. On the amendment, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. On the motion, it's on the ordinance itself. The motion for adoption, first passage, and referral to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. See no further discussion. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further motions, orders, and resolutions. Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, January 14th, 2016. Ordered that the city solicitor draft an amendment to the ordinance relative to resident sticker parking, limiting eligibility for resident sticker parking stickers to any unit that receives relief from the Zoning Board of Appeal on parking requirements, with an associated condition requiring the developer to purchase municipal garage passes. And further, that this matter be referred to the City Council Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, so that a meeting may convene with the city solicitor and city collector/parking clerk to review the ordinance amendment and its implementation.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Famico's motion for adoption under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Recently in my ward, I had a project that came before that they asked for a zoning relief for parking with 6 spots, and then the Zoning Board of Appeals gave it to them with a caveat that they had to get 2 garage passes. The catch is that this address is also on resident sticker parking street. So although that they were required to get the garage passes because of this issue, they can then get the resident sticker parking, so it's why they're actually going to use the garage passes at that point. And this particular street already has an overflow of cars parked along it, as do the 3 streets after it as well. So I'm thinking I'd just like to have a little bit of a discussion on this matter. If they're going to require garage passes, that then the people that live there would be ineligible to get resident stickers, so that those garage passes are actually utilized.
Thank you, Councilor. On Councilor, any further discussion? On Councilor Famico's motion for adoption, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Committee reports. Oh, no. We have one, speaking late files. We have one late file. Councilor Famico.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, good at large, Counselor, for the late file.
Well, it's not, that's not the same late
Not
file I'm talking about.
No.
Different. It's
City
a
of
motion.
Salem and the City Council, January 14, 2016. Order that the Committee on Government Services meet to discuss guidelines for cell sites, such as what we discussed earlier. Co-posted with the Committee of the Whole. Invited Bonnie Belair of Wharf Street? Wharf Street. Ryan Mashoni of Lee Street. The city engineer, the city electrician, the mayor, her designee, and the city solicitor.
Thank you, Councilor. No discussion. No discussion allowed. It's a late file. On Councilor Famico's motion, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Committee reports. Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem, City Council, January 14th, 2016. The Committee on Ordinances, License, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of the granting of certain licenses, has considered said matter and recommend approval. See room, secondhand clothing, and secondhand valuable.
Thank you. On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
No discussion, Mr. President.
Thank you. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further committee reports.
City of Salem, City Council, January 14th, 2016. The Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs, to whom was referred the matter of discussing and reviewing matters in committee that were carried forward from 2015 to 2016 to determine which matters shall remain or be discharged, has considered said matter and would recommend that the matter stay in committee.
On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. My intent for this was, at tonight's meeting was, I got all the committee members a tracking sheet for everything that's been carried over from the last year. Last year, we carried everything forward. There is one matter from 2011 and a couple from 2012, all the way up to the current, the matters that were taken up last year. I wanted to get all these matters that are already in front of us out into open discussion. Every member of the committee has, I actually made an expanded copy so you could read it a little better. I will make it available to the committee members, or actually I'll ask the city clerk to hand it out to everybody in the council. I think last year we carried everything over as we do. We invoked the rule, the number, I can't remember it off the top of my head. And every matter was committed. Some of these are redundant. Some of these have been dealt with in other areas that are no longer prevalent. It's just an attempt right now is to clean up the matters that have already been dealt with or that are no longer relevant, to get them off the tracking sheet so that the committee can get to do the work of everything that's left on the tracking sheet, and then everything's referred to the committee at this point. I mean, so the fact that we're still dealing with a matter from 2011, I can't read the matter because the print's so small, but at this point. But just so that my committee has the sheet in front of them, and at our next meeting, we'll take that matter up again to decide which matters that, after they have time to review, which matters we want to carry forward. If any member of the council gets a copy of the tracking sheet, looks at it, if there's any specific issue that they want to make sure, I know Councilor Fury has talked to me about one matter that he wants me to make sure stays on there. If anyone reviews the tracking sheet, there's any specific matter that they want them to stay, just send me a little email note and say I reviewed the list. The only matter I'm really concerned about is from 2015, number blank. And I'll make sure it gets carried over and we deal with it. Thank you.
Thank you. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further committee reports. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and City Council, January 14th, 2016. The Committee on Administration and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of adding a column to the operating budget book to reflect percent change or dollar variance on individual personnel salaries and expense lines, has considered said matter and would recommend that this matter stay in committee.
Thank you. On acceptance of the committee report, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, the committee essentially kept this matter in committee. This was a matter that was brought forward by former Ward 3 Councilor Siegel toward the end of last year that we carried over to this year. It's a very good idea that we want to discuss. Unfortunately, Sarah Stanton, our city finance director, was ill today, so she wasn't able to attend our committee meeting. So we're just holding this over until to the next meeting.
Thank you, Councilor. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further committee reports. Councilor Epley.
Thank you, Mr. President. City of Salem and the City Council, January 14th, 2016. The Committee on Administration and Finance, to whom was referred the matter of the year-to-date and monthly budget reports that are in committee, to get an overview and understanding of the reports and to determine if they shall be kept or discharged from committee, has considered said matter and would recommend that this matter stay in committee.
On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. I'm sorry, on acceptance, I apologize, on the acceptance of the committee report. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. On adoption of the recommendation, under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. President. Again, Ms. Stanton was unavailable, and so we've left this in committee.
Thank you. On adoption of the recommendation, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Communications from city officials, none. Petitions.
We have a petition from Comcast to install a conduit from Crombie Street to 28 Norman Street.
Hearing order January 28th, 2016. Further petitions.
We have an invitation from No Place for Hate and Salem State University to attend the MLK Vigil and Freedom March on Monday, January 18th, 2016, beginning at 4:30 p.m. at Salem State University, and use of city streets, Loring Ave, from North Campus to South Campus.
Councilor Dibble.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that it be granted.
Councilor Dibble's motion that it be granted, under discussion.
Yes, I think this is a wonderful event. Salem's No Place for Hate Committee is partnering with Salem State's annual Martin Luther King Jr.'s celebrations. It's a week-long event. This walk is a vigil where it will walk from North Campus down along Loring Avenue into Central Campus. Although this says South Campus on this order, it is actually into Central Campus. I plan on being there for this walk, and I encourage all of you to. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilor Fury.
President, I wish to come in and congratulate Councilor Dibble on this motion to move it as a graduate of Salem State University, myself as a graduate of Salem State University. I marched last year with a 7-year-old boy who I have as a mentor, part of the Red Sox mentoring program. And I marched in that parade. It's a very moving experience. It was a great experience for me and the little boy, 7 years old, to learn about Dr. King. Dr. King did that all over the country, marching peacefully. He said race back then was the single most divisive issue in this country. It hasn't changed too much over the years, had to say. And we have come a long way, yet we have a long way to go. It's a great collaboration with our University of Salem State College and the No Place for Hate Committee And sincerely, I think Councilor Joe O'Keefe would be looking down tonight also. As an active member, very active, vibrant member of the No Hate Commission, I'm sitting in his seat there, I think he'd be marching with us, situation, and it's a nice tribute for all of Salem to come together and dedicate our memory to Dr. King and this student, and his memory is also commemorated on the Salem State campus at the Student Union. They have a room dedicated to Dr. King called the Dr. King Room in the Student Union Hall. So in my 40 years of teaching over the years in elementary school, K through 6, I did many plays and assemblies on Dr. King. And I think we shouldn't forget what he did and what he did for this country and this world. And we've come a long way, and we have come a long way to go. So thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, on Councilor Dibble's motion that this be granted, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions.
We have a list of licenses for public guides and taxi operators.
Waive the reading.
Councilor
Waive the
McCarthy.
reading.
Councilor, waive the reading. Councilor McCarthy.
I move that these be granted.
Thank you. Councilor McCarthy moves these be granted. Under discussion?
No discussion.
Thank you. Thank you. Councilor McCarthy's motion these be granted. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions.
We have a list of following licenses: junk dealer, secondhand clothing, secondhand valuable, and tag day.
Councilor McCarthy.
Waive the reading.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that these matters be referred to the Committee on Licensed or Legal Affairs.
Councilor McCarthy moves these be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, Legal Affairs. Under discussion.
No discussion.
Thank you. On Councilor McCarthy's motion, all those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions.
We have a list of the following drain layer contract operator licenses.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that they be granted.
Councilor McCarthy moves that they be granted. Under discussion.
No discussion.
Thank you. On Councilor McCarthy's motion, these be granted. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions.
We have 3 claims and 1 subrogated claim.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that these matters be referred to the Committee on Licensed Orders and Legal Affairs.
On Councilor McCarthy's motion, these be referred to Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, and Legal Affairs. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Further petitions.
We have a constable bond, 2 drain layer bonds, and 1 sign bond.
Councilor McCarthy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that these matters be referred to the Committee on Licensed Orders and Legal Affairs and returned to approve.
Under discussion.
No discussion.
On Councilor McCarthy's motion that these be referred to the Committee on Ordinances, Licenses, Legal Affairs, and returned approved. All those in favor? Opposed? So moved. Councilor McCarthy.
If I may, Mr. President, at this time I'd like to recognize the Assistant City Clerk who has assumed the chair in the City Clerk's absence. It's in the 8 years I've been on the council. It is, I believe, her 2nd time. Cheryl's here religiously all the time for our meetings, but Eileen has stepped over from her seat over there and filled in very well tonight, and I want to thank her for her hard work this evening.
Good job. Thank you. Councilor Fury.
My personal privilege also, if I may. Some of us earlier this evening had the opportunity and privilege to see the open house from Congressman Seth Moulton's new headquarters on Front Street, and it's a very appropriate location. It's the old Clark and Friend store that many of us remember. It used to be a yarn place a couple of years ago. Now it's in Salem, and how lucky we are to have Congressman Seth Moulton's new high-tech office, very visible, very accessible, plenty of parking back, and a nice location here in Salem. And in the audience tonight, Mr. Jamie Zavalia reminded me in the audience that former Congressman Torkelson had his headquarters there, lo and behold, in Salem. And in the past experience, Congressman John Candy had his office in Peabody, and Congressman Mavoulas had his office here in Salem. So it's really great to have our Congressman, Seth Moulton, have his headquarters in Salem. So I hope to the citizens of Salem and watching tonight and the readers tonight, take a look at and see Congressman Seth Moulton's headquarters. It's a vibrant new part of downtown, and thank you for reminding me, Mrs. Zavalig, about Congressman Torkelson. Thank you. And Mr. President.
Unfinished business, none. Councilor Fury.
Motion to adjourn, please.
On Councilor Fury's motion to adjourn, all those in favor? Opposed? We are adjourned.